The worst advice I hear about the VA loan isn't completely wrong, it's just incomplete enough to cost a buyer a house, thousands of dollars, or to create a big problem that doesn't show up until later. So today we're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna bust or back up 10 of the most common things people say about the VA loan. Here's the twist. I asked my guy Justin to put them together, so I'm hearing each one right along with you. My job is to call it myth, fact, or one of those technically true but statements that leaves out the part that actually matters. Whether you're PCSing, relocating as a veteran, or just trying to understand the VA loan benefit before you use it, this is the stuff you have to know to make the right move.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
You can only use your VA loan benefit once.
Myth, you can absolutely use your VA loan more than one time. However, the amount of down payment you may need to put down will vary. For example, if you're going above the VA loan conforming limit, which is also just the conforming loan limit for federal loans, then you may have to do a down payment, but you can still absolutely use the VA loan. In order to restore your full entitlement and have no down payment, then you would need to sell a home, but you can have more than one VA loan out at a time and have multiple properties with the VA loan. You can go back, refinance, do all sorts of things. I have more videos on that specifically.
VA loan buyers never pay mortgage insurance.
That's a fact, but you need some context with it. So PMI, which is essentially mortgage insurance, is baked in as an extra monthly payment for most people that are buying homes and with most loan types. The VA loan does not have mortgage insurance, which is a significant savings, but you do still have a VA funding fee, which is a one-time fee. It is tacked on to your total loan balance, and you can get exemptions for it with disability ratings. It's one of those things where no, you don't have mortgage insurance, but you need to be aware of the VA funding fee as a factor in your loan process.
A VA appraisal is basically a much harder home inspection.
Myth, oh, I hate this one because it can really lead buyers to a lot of expensive repairs down the road if you skip a home inspection because you know that you're gonna have that VA appraisal. An appraisal is for determining home value and really basic safety standards. An appraiser is not going to check your electrical, your plumbing, your HVAC, your major components of the home. I really highly recommend that you have a separate home inspection for that.
You can have two VA loans at the same time.
Absolutely true. You can have more than one VA loan out at once. I've done deeper dive videos on this. It really just comes down to the right strategy for your situation.
Every VA buyer can purchase any home with $0 out of pocket.
Not necessarily true, and this one catches a lot of people off guard because if you have your full entitlement, you've never bought a home before with the VA loan, and you don't have anything that negatively impacts that entitlement, then yes, 100% you could buy a home with zero down with the VA loan. However, if you have a short sale on your record, you've used the VA loan before and already have a property with it, or you're trying to buy above that conforming loan limit, then you may have to do a down payment, but in many cases, it'll be a lot less than a down payment you'd need with another loan type.
You can use a VA loan to buy a duplex, live in one, and rent out the other unit.
Fact, you can absolutely do this, and it can be a good strategy. It primarily depends on what area you're in. It works with conditions. It's definitely not as easy as people on social media make it sound or look.
The VA requires every borrower to have at least a 620 credit score.
Myth. Absolutely not. The VA loan doesn't actually come from the VA. It comes from a lender. You can get a VA loan from most lenders, and every lender sets their own credit requirements for the VA loan product, and they have different exceptions for different situations as well. So it's definitely not one of those things where you wait until you have 620 to talk about it. You should definitely get with a lender early.
The seller has to pay a VA buyer's closing costs.
Myth, a seller is not automatically required to pay all of a VA buyer's closing costs. Seller paying buyer closing costs, called seller concessions, is negotiated the same way price, repairs, and timelines are negotiated. A strong VA offer gets built around the actual property, the market, and what matters most to you as the buyer, and then it still has to be negotiated against a seller who wants their own outcome. Who you have representing you really matters here.
Every veteran with a disability rating automatically has the VA funding fee waived.
Myth, or at least it's incomplete. A lot of veterans with a service-connected disability rating are exempt from that funding fee, but it isn't automatic and it may not be for the full amount. Have your lender confirm it early because it can change your loan costs by real money.
All right, last one. If you're eligible for a VA loan, it's always the best loan for you.
Myth, and I'll probably surprise a few people by saying that. The VA loan is an incredible product. Being eligible for it doesn't automatically make it the right structure for every situation. The obvious one, if you're not buying a home to live in yourself, you'll need a different loan type. For a first-time buyer without 20% to put down, I've honestly never seen anything beat the VA loan, but once you're putting money down or you have to put money down, it's worth comparing other products too. There are plenty of situations where the VA loan is clearly the strongest move, and a few where a conventional option fits better. Using the benefit and using it strategically are two very different things. So here's the real takeaway. The VA loan is a powerful benefit, and the property, the lender, the offer, your entitlement, the occupancy rules, and your own plans after this move all shape your best strategy for using it. I've put together an in-depth VA loan strategy guide that's useful no matter where you are. Comment strategy below and I'll get you the link. At Calzico, we've ranked #1 in Arizona for VA loan transactions by MLS data since 2017. And part of the reason is that we don't treat every VA buyer or every seller with a VA loan the same, because the goal was never to just help people buy and sell. It's to structure the right move to protect your cash, strengthen your position, and keep your options open down the road. If you're PCSing to Luke or relocating within Phoenix's West Valley, contact the Calzico team so we can help you build your own VA loan strategy. I'll see you next time.